Our past year in India has been marked by several new beginnings, as well as some incredible answers to prayer. We started out with a bright group of nurses in Herbertpore Christian Hospital. This year, these experienced nurses were being taught to use computers for the first time, and they wanted Jerry to help them learn. Well, that was a big task, so Jerry asked them, "What do you want to learn?" And they said, "PowerPoint." So Jerry, with limited Hindi, started teaching them on the old Windows 98 computers which the hospital had. And what subjects would they cover? Neonatal subjects, to be able to teach more about the care of newborns. We were amazed. With an hour a day of teaching, in about a week, they had not only learned how to put together a PowerPoint, but how to add colors and background pictures, etc. to their presentations. We then traveled to Chhattisgarh and visited several different hospitals. There were a group of doctors who had seen our trainings at other hospitals and wanted some help for Champa Christian Hospital because it seemed there were many babies that were dying. First, we had to get to the root of the problems. Then we could help them to organize their care and do appropriate trainings. By the end of our time there, we had helped them to set up a place for a small nursery or NICU of low levels and helped them to apply the trainings. We had a happy celebration on the day that the new unit opened. Donations of hats and sweaters and other warm clothing are something that Grace Babies has become known for. It is such a blessing to bring these items to the northern parts of India where it becomes very cold in the winter. They don't use plastic covers over the diapers, or nappies as they're called in India. So this just compounds the problem by the babies becoming wet, then the whole bed becoming wet. Many babies get so cold that they die from hypothermia. This year, God helped us to bring nappy covers or diaper covers with us to India. First, a donation came for the special breathable but waterproof fabric. Many ladies' hands made lighter work, and we were able to bring 200 nappy covers to India to distribute at the 12 hospitals that we visit. They were well appreciated and looked cute as well. When we visited Fatehpur, the home of one of our first nurseries, we had a wonderful visit with our friend Dr. Sujit.
But we are very grateful to Wendy and Jerry, who had come here before and stayed here for 2 years, who had trained many of our nurses in neonatal resuscitation. With the institution of Grace Babies, a major change happened.
He has been a staunch supporter of Grace Babies since the beginning. He is now planning to expand his nursery to level 1 and level 2. This hospital has over 1,000 deliveries in a year, and they're giving excellent care to their babies, despite the fact that they have a constantly changing nursing staff and no pediatrician. As winter came to an end, we had the privilege of hosting a team from the U.S. 2 therapists had visited us before, and they wanted to bring a friend and their children. We traveled together to Tezpur in Assam, where we had based for a while last year. They would help with the community-based rehab program for young, differently abled children. Amazingly, they were able to see some of the same children that they had treated 4 years ago. They taught some new techniques to the local therapists, which gave their visit a lasting effect. Their doctor friend who traveled with them also had plenty to see and do. The children took part in the festival of the season, which included painting each other with color. They also saw what life was like in the villages and played with the children there. The guest house had its own coconut trees, and of course the boys thought that they should knock down some of those coconuts. The staff decided to get in on the action and taught them the native way to cut fresh coconuts and then drink the water right from the source. No visit to Assam would be complete without a visit to the national park, where there are elephant safaris, going to see the famed one-horned rhinos. For several years, we have been praying and trying to develop a centralized training program to spread the knowledge of the specialized care for neonates. Then suddenly, this year, our prayers seemed to be all answered at once. The floodgates had opened. First, we were asked to help with a centralized training program run through the central office of EHA for all 20 hospitals. Wow, what an answer to prayer. Then volunteers came to help us, appearing as if out of thin air. Up until this time, there had been no neonatal specialists at any of the 20 hospitals, no neonatologists, and no neonatal nurses. But now, volunteering to help us train were 3 neonatologists and 2 neonatal specialist nurses, one from the US and one from Canada. They would help us train 20 participants from several different hospitals. The program would be called NEST, for Neonatal Survival Training. The neonatologist from India agreed to be in charge of the program, which was a huge blessing and relief to me, as now a real expert would be heading things up. The 2 experts from Canada did a great job teaching a specialized program, and our volunteers from Texas and New Mexico filled in on several subjects, and then I did my best to add in whatever might be missing to round things out. After a week of intense training, which included time in the neonatal and postnatal wards in the hospital, the doctors and nurses returned to their home hospitals. Grace Babies will continue the initiative of developing modules for the program, as well as going and conducting some of the training sessions in the future. Some of the modules will be in video format, allowing them to be taught anywhere by anyone. We've even had the blessing of a local nursing college volunteering to post our trainings through their college website. Please do be praying for these efforts, and that Jerry and I will be able to finish well in India, as we're seeking God's broader plan to encourage great care for these tiny little ones.